Hello everyone. In this today's video session, we are going to discuss about our third chapter in your first module. So the third chapter is functions. So this one is the last concept of your first module. So function. So you already studied about function in your C programming, C++, and as well as Java. In Java, we are not called this one as function. We called as method. But in C and C++, we discussed about the function. So what is function? So we already know function is like a mini program within a program. So function we called as a mini program, so that present within a program. So why we create function we already know. So for dividing our for grouping or separating our huge program into separate units. So if you want to divide or separate out your lengthy program into separate of blocks based on specific operation we called as function. Okay, so the main advantage of creating function is, first advantage is we are going to broke or divide the huge program into small programs, so based on specific operation. And then so once you create one function, that function you can use n number of times, reusable of code. So you can use the same code, you can call the same function n number of times with different values by providing different inputs. Okay, so that one is the main advantage of creating functions in programming languages. Okay, so in Python also we are creating a function, but by using different syntax. Here the syntax is different compared to your C programming. So Python provides several inbuilt functions like print, input, and length, but you can also write your own function. So we already know in functions we have two different types. One is inbuilt function and as well as user defined function. So inbuilt functions are nothing but that functions are already defined by your programming language. Okay, and then user defined function in the sense that functions you the developer can itself created the function based on its requirement. Based on its requirements, it can create its own function. So in Python also, we already saw some of the inbuilt functions like print. So we already used for printing output, we use print function, and then input function for accepting the input from the user, and then for calculating the length of the string, number of characters in a string, for that we use length. So like this, we have plenty of inbuilt function in our Python programming language, and then you can also create your own function, that is user defined function. So to better understand how function work, let's create one. So here and if you want to understand the function in Python, so first we are going to see one example, and then you can understand. So here you see the example. This one is the function. Okay, so type this program in your file editor and save it as hello function.py. Okay, open your keep spider IDE, and then try to execute this function and see the output. Here you see in Python, if you want to create any function, so that function we are created by using def keyword. So def is a keyword, it is used to create a function. So def in the sense define. Okay, define the function. So def keyword, by using this def keyword we are creating a function, and then followed by lo means your function name. Okay, function name, for a name, for any identifier, function name for naming function also we are using identifier rules. So that identifier rules we discussed in first chapter, and then you attach parenthesis. This parenthesis is for accepting arguments. For accepting arguments we use this parenthesis. Any identifier attached with parenthesis we called as a function, and then we end this one with colon. Okay, so this is the syntax to define a function in Python. First you have to mention the def keyword followed by, and then provide by one white space, and then next you mention your function name. So that for naming function, again here we have to use identifier rules, and then for this identifier you attach parenthesis. So parenthesis for accepting argument. Okay, and then it end with colon. Okay, this one is the head of your function. Okay, just like how you created a function in your C programming, head and function body. So here in function head, def keyword, function name followed by parenthesis for accepting arguments and then colon. And then in function body, you have to mention the code, block of code. That too, you have to mention it as indent block of code. Indent means you have to provide one white space here. So here, so if you provide white space after this, which are all the code you enter, this one belongs to function. So below that, what we have, this one is not belongs to function. So this one is separate. Okay, only this code, this part of code 1 and 2. So this part of code. So here in one, this one is the function head. Second one is the function body that contain code. That body you have to write by providing indent. Indent means one tab space you have to provide. Okay, so if you type this one, but without providing this white space, if you type your function, then you get an error in your IDE. So try to execute this type of programs and then observe the difference. Okay, and then next here in function, we already know if you want to define any function, first you have to define a function and then you have to mention the execution code of the function and then we have to call. Until you call that function, your function will not work. Yes, we need to call. How to call? Just by mentioning the function name and parenthesis. So here, if any arguments are there, for that you have to pass a parameters. Parameter values you need to pass. But here we know we don't have any argument. That's why just simply you call hello. How you call your function? Just by mentioning the function name parenthesis. Then this function will get executed. See here. So what I explained now, the same thing they mentioned here. The first line is a def statement which define a function name hello. The code in the block that follows the def statement is the body of the function. So this one is the body of the function. So this one is the function head. Okay, and then this code is executed when the function is called, not when the function is first defined. If you just define, this code will not get executed. When you call that function, then only this function will get executed. How to call? Just by mentioning the function name. The allow lines after function 3. So here in this 3, so this here they called 3 times actually. So these 3 times, these 3 print statements are get executed. So in the code, a function call is just a function name followed by the parenthesis, possibly with some number of arguments in between the parentheses. But here in this example, we don't have any arguments. Possibly we have arguments. If you have arguments, you have to pass a parameters values. When the program execution reaches this call, it will jump to the top of line in the function and begin executing the code. So here you see, when your program execution will start, first the function will be defined. Okay, and then this code will be executed. This means that will not printed, but this one will be read by your software, and then next it will jump to function call. When you call this function, so it come to top again and then start executing this code of the function. Okay, and the program, okay, that thing they mentioned here. When it reaches the end of the function, the execution returns to the line that called the function and continues moving through the code as before. First, it will execute the first hello function, and then first if you call this one function, here we call the function, right? So then it will move to the top and then execute all the statements. Again, it will come here and then jumps to next line. Again here in next line also we are calling the function. Again it will move to the top and then execute all the statements and then again come here. Again we called and then it will this type it will print 3 times. Totally 9 times it will get printed. Okay. So see, this program calls allow 3 times. As I already told, the code in the allow function is executed 3 times. When you run this program, the output will look like this. So like this, 3 times it will get executed. Okay. So the major purpose of function, I already told, the major purpose of function is we have to avoid the repeated codes. So now if you want to print the statements 3 times without using function, without creating function, then what we have to do? We have to type 9 times the print function. Here what we did, so here just we created one function. Okay, that function you can call any number of times. So that number of times it will, how many number of times you call that function, that number of times it will printed all the values. Here the major purpose of function is to group code that gets executed multiple times. Without a function defined, you would have to copy and paste this code each time and the program would look like this. If you not created program, we will not created function, and then if you wanted to print like this, you have to type your program this number of lines of code. Okay, to avoid that one, we created a function. So next one is def statements with parentheses. Now we are discussing one by one def statements with parentheses. Okay, def statement. Def is a keyword. That one is the used to define a function in a Python programming. When you call a print or line function, you pass in values called argument in this context by typing them between the parentheses. So you can also define your own function that accept arguments. So type this example into your file editor and save it as allow function 2.py. So here they provided one example. So here actually in this example they are going to explain how we are to declare an arguments parameters. We need to declare how to pass a values to that parameters. See here, so when you call a function means when you call a inbuilt functions called print length, you can pass values directly. You can pass values. So here when you call print function, in that print function, for that we have to pass values in the form of string values. Why? Because your print function will accept the arguments arguments they define by using string data type. Okay, your print functions will accept values in the form of print function. So for that you have to pass parameter in the form of string values only. If you pass integer values 42, print 42, it will not accept. It will not accept, it will show an error. It will accept the values in the form of string. Why? Because your print functions are defined by using print string arguments. And then for length it will accept the values in the form of string, and then it will provide output in the form of integer. So you can pass values in called arguments. See here in this example, so define allow, def is a function, keyword is used to define a function, and then allow is a function name. Here we declared one argument called name. So name is an argument. Okay, we declared. So if you declare a name, so for that you need to pass a value in the form of string. So name will accept the values in the form of string. So if you define one argument, so then you need to pass a parameter. But in this previous example, we are not defined any parameter arguments, empty. That's why while we are calling the function, so we are not passing any parameter. So but here you see in this example, we define one argument called name. So when you call this function, for that you have to pass a value, parameter value. Okay, pass by value is there, pass by reference is there, parameter passing. So we know there are two types of parameter value passing. One is pass by reference and pass by value. So this one, if you directly pass the value, then this one we called as pass by value. Instead of that one, you can pass the values in the form of pointer, means reference variables values also you can pass. That one we called as pass by reference. Okay, so that you studied in your C programming. The same thing here also we use, but the syntax is different. So def allow name, so print allow plus name. So this one is a string, print string. Okay, this one is hard coded, that will directly accepted plus name. What name you entered, that one will be printed. So when you run this program, while you call this function, so you have to pass a parameter. For name, string value you have to pass. So when you run this one, it will print like this: hello alias hello pop. Okay, so this one is the passing a parameter. So to pass a parameters to a function. Okay, see here in this slide. So what I explained now, that along that example, same thing here they explain mentioned. So the definition of allow function in the program is parameter called name. So here they declare a parameter called name. For this parameter we have to pass 10 arguments. So here a parameter is a variable that an argument is stored in when a function is called. So when a function is called, that argument value is stored in this parameter. The first time allow function is called, it's with the argument alias. So here this one is the argument, this one is the parameters. So parameters you need to pass. Okay, the program execution enters the function and the variable name is automatically set to alias when it what gets printed by the print statement. So one special thing to note about the parameter is that value stored in the parameter is forgotten when the function returns. Okay, when the function will get returns, so that value will be stored, will be destroyed. Okay, for example, if you added print name after hello Bob in the previous program, the program would give the name error because there is no variable named name. Okay, so here the same thing here, previous example also we are declared the same function, right? Hello. For that, if you pass an argument, means if you pass argument same, if you call this function by using this by passing this argument value, so then it will show an error because in this example we are not declare or we are not mention the parameter, but in this example they declare a parameter called name. So once it return the value, so this parameter value will be destroyed. Okay, so the variable will be destroyed of the function called hello Bob at return. So it will return, then the function the variable value will get destroyed. So next, return values and return statement. So here return value. Okay, when you call a function, that function needs to return some value. Okay, so in previous examples we are not returning value, we are just printing the values. Okay, so when you are performing some mathematical operations and some other calculations, okay, calculations, so from one function to another function we are going to exchange the informations. So call function to call it functions, we are going to exchange the values, output values we are exchanging between one function to another function. While you are exchanging the values, so then you need to return the values from that function. So for returning values, we are using return keyword in your Python programming. When you call the len function, so release len function and pass return argument such as hello, the function call evaluates to integer value 5. So listen here. So we already know length function, len function used to calculate the number of characters in a string. So when you call that function, you pass a value. Inside that we pass string value. After that, what value it will return? It will return integer value. Integer value. See here, for this length, if you pass the input as hello, then what value it will print? It evaluates and then it will return integer value 5. So which is the length of the string you passed. In general, the value that the function call evaluates to is called the return value of the function. So what that 5 value is will be returned from that function. What we get, that one we called as return value of the function. Okay, so how to return values in a Python function? So that we see next. The return statements consists of the following. So for returning values, so we create a return statements. So that return statement contains that return keyword. Okay, it contains the return keyword, the value of the expression that the function should return. So it contains the return keyword and then what value we that function needs to should return. So that we think we have to mention in the return statement. Next we see with one example. See here we have one example with elif statement, multiple if statements. Okay, here in else if we can check the multiple possible outputs. So here you see first import random. Okay, this one is a simple program to generate random numbers. Okay, so for random numbers it will provide some random answers. So import random, we already know import is used to import the inbuilt packages in your C program, in your Python programming. First you import the random numbers. Next we defined function here, or for how to define function, def keyword followed by function name. Here function name is get answer. So here we created a parameter. Parameter is to accept input value. So that is answer number. Answer number is your parameter. For this you need to pass a arguments while you call this function. So here if answer number, this input what you provided, so that answer number, your argument value is equal to 1, then here you see return. Return is a keyword, okay, for returning value from one function, calling function to called function. Here calling function, here when you called function is this one. Okay, so return 1. If the answer number is 1, then it will return it is that time. And then like that 2, then it is decidedly so. And then 3, yes. 4, reply yes, try again. 5, ask again later. 6, concatenate hash number. Okay, that random numbers will be generated by defaultly by this random function. Okay, so this one is our function. So for if our number is 1, then you have to print this one. If your function is 9, then it will print very doubtfully. So for printing these values, we have to we are returning the values from calling function to called function. For that, we use return keyword. By using return keyword, you can return the values. So here next, after this, when this function will get executed when we call. So how to call? Here you see, for this you need to pass a parameter, right? Value we need to pass, argument we need to pass. For that we generate random numbers. So these are all random numbers. Okay, we are not providing inputs directly. By generating random numbers, we are providing input. R is equal to random dot random integers. We already know. So for calling random numbers, first we have to mention the inbuilt package called random dot. If our integer values, rand integer value. Between here, the range is what? 1 to 9. So for random integer, we can provide 3 arguments. If you provide one argument, okay, between that 0 to, if you provide 7, 0 to 6, that value will be accepted. If you provide 2 arguments, so first value will be what? That first value will be the starting point, starting value, and then second value will be the ending value. And then next one is 3 arguments. That 3 arguments, 1, 2 means first one is starting, second one is ending, and then third one is the range. How many number of times it will get repeated. So here 2 arguments they are provided, 1 starting and end with 9. So 1 to 9 random numbers are get generated. So that value we are passing to an arguments. So here fortune one variable we declared. For that we assign function. Get answer is function we are calling now. For that value, what R value will be passed. R value will be code. One random number is generated. That random number is passed as an argument to this parameter. So if it is 1, then it will print it is certain. So that output return value, for storing that output return value, here we declared one variable for accepting that value. That return value command stored in fortune. Next we print that return value. So in this way, this return will work. This one is a simple program to generate random numbers. So based on random numbers, we are going to print some statements. Okay. So here, see, first Python imports random module, then the get answer function is defined. As because of the function is being defined, the execution skips over code into it. Next, the random dot randint function called with the 2 arguments 1 to 1 and 9. Between 1 and 9, it evaluates the random integer between the 1 and 9. So and this value is stored in the variable, or the get answer function is called with R as an argument. What I explained the same thing. The program execution moves to the top of the get answer function, and the value R will be stored in the parameter named answer number. Then depending on this value in the answer number, the function return one of the many possible string. So here you see, so here first that random number will, okay, after when you start executing this program, so this data are get loaded, but it will not get executed. The function is get loaded but not executed. When it executed, when we call first, this random.randint function will get executed, so that it will generate a random numbers from 1 to 9, and then that number is stored in R. And then next here fifth we called a function. When we call that function, then this third statement will get executed. For this, through using R, we are passing value to the answer number. This one is the argument, this one is the parameter. It accepts the value, and then based on that it will print a statement. After it will based on that it will print a result. It will return the value to the fortune. Okay, here when we call this function, the function flow goes to the top. Okay, the function goes to the top here. Okay, and then after that the return, which return statement will be get executed, that depends on the number. After that again it will come here and then print next statement. Okay, that same thing they explain. So next, R is equal to random init, and then this code you can also write it in a single line. Okay, so by using this print get answer random dot random init of 19. So here for your better understanding, we write a code in the form of split format, but all we merge together and then print. So here in this line, in single line, we are printing that statement. So in that single line, what happens in the sense, so we are not declared any variable. So okay, directly instead of variable, so directly we are going to print the statements. Okay, so here you see, so now I show you how this one will get executed. Okay, see here, so this one. Here you see, import random, type this program in your system and then try to execute. So first what happens? First random number will get generated. Here you see, yes, it will print. In yes in the sense 3, random number 3 is generated. I run it again. Next it is certain. It is certain means random number 1 is generated. Next it is decidedly so. This is decidedly so in the sense random number 2 is generated. Next, very doubtful, 9 random numbers, 1 to 9 random numbers. If we change this one to 5, okay, now I change this one to 5 and then save it. And then if I execute, then it will execute only the numbers between 1 to 5. Okay, not more than that. Okay. Okay, I hope you all understand this concept. So in this today's video session, we discussed about how to define function. Okay, what is function, how to define function, and then how to return the values from one function to another function. And then we discussed one example. Okay, you replace these 3 lines of code and then that one with this single statement and then see the output. Now see, same thing. Right. So I replace this 3 and then just I use this single code. Save, I save this one and then run it again. Yes, ask again. Later. Same thing you get. Okay. So first you learn the basics. Okay, these things. Okay, here in these 3 lines of code you can easily understand. If I directly write this one, it will be difficult to understand to you people. Okay, that's why. Okay, after you understand this one and try to write this code and then execute. Okay, thank you. In this next video session, we discussed about non values and then we have some another extra concepts they added in this function concept in Python, so that we discussed in next session. Okay, thank you. Thank you for watching this video. Meet in next video session. We will meet in next videos.